At the end of the chapter, oh, here's Possum, she's helping me. At the end of the chapter, the Defarges bring the men over the roads to see Versailles. Here's the passage. In your book, it's page 166. Therefore, when Sunday came, the mender of the roads was not enchanted, though he said he was, to find that Madame was to accompany Monsieur and himself to Versailles. It was additionally disconcerting to have Madame knitting all the way there in a public conveyance. It was additionally disconcerting yet to have Madame in the crowd in the afternoon, still with her knitting in her hands, as the crowd waited to see the carriage of the king and the queen. You work hard, Madame, said a man near her. Yes, answered Madame Defarge. I have a good deal to do. What do you make there, Madame? Many things. Well, for instance? For instance, shrouds. The man moved a little further away as soon as he could, and the mender of the roads fanned himself with his blue cap, feeling mightily close and oppressive. If he needed a king and a queen to restore him, he was fortunate in having his remedy at hand, for soon the large-faced king, Louis XVI, and the fair-faced queen, Marie Antoinette, came in their golden coach, attended by the shining bull's eye of their court, a glittering multitude of laughing ladies and fine lords, and in jewels and silks and powder and splendor, and elegantly spurning figures and handsomely disdainful faces of both sexes, the mender of the roads bathed himself so much to his temporary intoxication that he cried, "Long live the king! Long live the queen! Long live everybody and everything!" as if he had never heard of the ubiquitous Jacques in his time. Then there were gardens, courtyards, terraces, fountains, green banks, more king and queen, more bull's eye, more lords and ladies, more long live they all, until he absolutely wept with sentiment. During the whole of this scene, which lasted some 3 hours, he had plenty of shouting and weeping and sentimental company, and throughout Defarge held him by the collar as if to restrain him from flying at the objects of his brief devotion and tearing them to pieces. "Bravo," said Defarge, clapping him on the back when it was over, like a patron. "You are a good boy." The mender of the roads was now coming to himself, and was mistrustful of having made a mistake in his late demonstrations. But no, you're the fellow we want. You make these fools believe that it will last forever. Then they're more insolent, and it is the nearer ended. "Hey," cried the mender of the roads, "that's true. These fools know nothing, while they despise your breath and would stop it forever and ever in you, or in 100 like you, rather than in one of their own horses or dogs. They only know what your breath tells them. Let it deceive them, then, a little longer. It cannot deceive them too much." Madame Defarge looked superciliously at the client and nodded in confirmation. "As to you, you would shout and shed tears for anything if it made a show and a noise. Say, would you not?" "Truly, madam, I think so. For the moment. If you were shown a great heap of dolls, and were set upon them to pluck them to pieces and to spoil them for your own advantage, you would pick out the richest and the gayest, say, would you not?" "Truly, yes, madam." "Yes. And if you were shown a flock of birds unable to fly, and were to set upon them to strip them of their feathers for your own advantage, you would set upon the birds of the finest feathers, would you not?" "It is true, madam." "Well, you have seen both dolls and birds today," said Madame Defarge, with a wave of her hand toward the place where they had last been apparent. "Now, go home."